Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC-Mura here, and in today's video I wanted to talk to you guys about Street Fighter V and whether it is too demanding of a game or not. And I know some people will brush off this argument completely right out of the gate. They will tell me that Street Fighter V is a baby mode Street Fighter game, and back in the day when they were playing Street Fighter 3 Alpha EX on their Coca-Cola machine, they were beasts and they were real men and they had to do, you know how it goes. I don't wanna go into it too much. But what I mean by Street Fighter V being demanding is that when people talk about games being demanding, they usually refer to combo execution, right? Like this is a game being easy or a game being difficult. The first targets that pops into people's head are combo execution, and I do agree that Street Fighter V have a easy combo execution. I will say there are very little combos in Street Fighter V that I would say are demanding or are like genuinely really difficult. Some are, but for the most part, most of the combo execution is actually pretty easy. What I mean by the game being demanding is that Street Fighter V put a lot of emphasis on reacting and decision making. And hear me out. When you wanna play Street Fighter V at a high level, and I know this may not be super relatable to everyone, but if you wanna play the game at a high level and you want to do consistently well, you have to learn to play slow. Playing slow pretty much means not overextending, waiting for your opponent to do something and reacting accordingly, and generally making good decisions with punishing, etc. etc. Now let's take a look at one example here. Let's say that Ryu is gonna dash. Ryu's dash is a 16 frames dash, right? If you wanna play the game at a high level, you wanna be able to interrupt the dash. You wanna see Ryu dashing and reacting and getting the proper combo punish. Now you might be able to do that in training mode every single time, right? But in a real game, it gets a lot harder. 16 frames is a very short window to react, right? Like you have very little window to react. And here in training mode, I know he's gonna do it. Now let's add another element. Let's say that he's gonna dash or he's gonna jump. And I don't know which is which. And I wanna react accordingly. Right here I got the anti-air. I don't even wanna do that jab beforehand, right? Because this might take some... might lead to me getting punished actually. And as you can see, just having that made it a lot harder. Now let's add a third option, which is like the solar plexus. We wanna punish that as well. And it gets harder and harder and harder. The more options you add, the harder it gets. Obviously, there is a video that was released by Hi-Fight recently called the Mental Stack. And when you're fighting versus someone, you are not looking for one option. Like you are worrying about the solar plexus, the dash, the jump, EX fireball, regular Hadouken, etc, etc, etc. I want to be able to react to his fireball with V skill. You know how it goes. And this is actually pretty difficult. Because this requires very sharp reactions from the player, and this is part of what I was talking about. Now personally, I told you guys before, I work like a full-time job. Actually, I am recording this currently. It is 12 a.m. and today I actually worked on my daytime job from 9 a.m. up until 10 p.m. So I worked for around 13 hours today. So my mental and physical condition is in the garbage at the moment, right? And that's why actually when you look at many of the pro players, like Tokido for example, you will see a big shift in how they approach the game. Many players now are targeting fitness, getting a good care of their bodies and their mentality, because in this game it actually matters a lot. Obviously another aspect is hit confirms, right? You want to be able to hit confirm your normals. Obviously some characters are more reliant on this than others, but let's say that we are doing something like Cody's crouching heavy punch. We want to hit confirm that, right? This time I got it. etc, etc, etc. A lot of characters require a heavy emphasis on head confirm. Again, in matches it is not as straightforward as training mode, because this time it's just pure reaction. In a match you can kinda react easier in my opinion sometimes, but you get the idea. There is a lot of emphasis and a lot of importance on reacting. Obviously, another thing is decision making. When to pop your V trigger, if you wanna tech or not, if you wanna quick rise or back rise, do you wanna V shift, etc, etc, etc. And a lot of this requires you to be in a very good condition, both physically and mentally. Now let's compare it to a game like Street Fighter 4, because I am someone who played Street Fighter 4 from day one and played Street Fighter 5 from day one. And Street Fighter 4 was a game that was a lot more heavy tech-wise. For example, let's say that I got a light kick ruffian knockdown with Cody. In Street Fighter 5, I have to react accordingly to my opponent quick rise, right? Like let's say for example that Ryu is gonna wake up with a jab. This one was Shoryuken, right? Let's say Ryu is gonna wake up with a jab, right? If he is doing a quick rise, I have to meet him with crouching medium punch. But if he did a back rise, it whiffs and I get punished. If he back rises, I have to meet him with standing medium kick, but if he quick rises, his jab will beat me. So just something as simple as one knockdown, this requires you to react to your opponent. In Street Fighter 4, you could option select the hell out of every knockdown. In Street Fighter 4, you didn't honestly need to exert that much effort or strain mentally or physically when you're fighting against a lower level player. If you had more tech than the other player, if your knowledge and tech and setups were on point, you didn't really have to put in that much effort to beat them. Yes, the execution on the actual setup were higher, but the effort, the mental and physical strain from you as a player was a lot less. So when someone tells you that Street Fighter 5 is a very easy game or that it's not very demanding, on the highest level of gameplay, I honestly think it is one of the hardest fighting games to play in my opinion. And that's why you see very little players or very little amount of players being very consistent on the highest level. Even a player like Tokido might lose to a random online Akuma. And that is pretty much it for today's video. Let me know what you think of this, if you agree or disagree. I know I haven't been leaving a lot of Street Fighter 5 gameplay, so I will leave a match here. And obviously I'm gonna start putting more grasping the situation videos on Street Fighter 5 in the upcoming days. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon page and the Discord page in the description below. Thank you very much for watching and stay safe.
Can't start the show without the star, right?
Round one. Fight.
Right there! Not done yet. Right there! Not done yet. What a treat. Take your wits. Like more. Come back soon.
Round two.